Thank you everyone for joining today's webinar from us, Thomas, part of Sometry, where we'll talk about how you can source on thomasnet.com and leverage our newly launched industrial buying engine for you to find the right vendors fast and also transact with transactional assurance that we just recently launched. It's all very exciting. Before we begin, just a quick 10 seconds overview. If Wi-Fi is being funky, Brittany will step in, and throughout the presentation, if you haven't used GoToWebinar before, there is a question box. Feel free to drop your question. I am a bit weird as a presenter. I actually love choose your own adventure. So as I kind of ask you what you do and what are the latest buying briefs or projects you're working on, if you drop it in a private chat, I'll eyeball it and I may actually change how I present based on your questions. Of course, we'll also circulate a copy. We actually did, even ahead of this presentation. You will see Brittany, our producer, already dropped you a link in the chat group. With that link, when you click through, is a public Google Doc where you will see the whole presentation, so you don't have to frantically be taking any notes. And if you have any difficulty hearing what I'm saying, I know it's paradoxical that I'm telling you right now, go look for your GoToWebinar notes and see if you can dial in using your cell phone. A bit about me. I am the VP of Platform Growth for Sometry, Thomas, and I've been here for the last 4 to 5 years, and I am someone that will use data, intelligence, audience insight to help you do your job better. And on the call, we also have Brittany. Can you give everyone a quick introduction before we jump right in?
Yeah, I'm Brittany Henneberry. I'm a technical editor under Kathy, and I work on a lot of our technical content and making sure that there's plenty of information out there to help you guys do your jobs more easily, both on thomasnet.com and just in general industry. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Brittany. Now, let's talk about why you're here today. You stumble upon thomasnet.com or someone referred you to our platform. We've been around since 1898, founded by a family based in New York. But the most important part is we have over 100 years of industrial experience where our supplier experts curate and put together information for different industries, all the way from aerospace and defense to textile and telecom, any industry you can think of. They are likely someone that used to have a big green book in their industrial library, and now we are 100% digital through thomasnet.com. More importantly, we have one of the world's most robust database of USA and Canadian suppliers across 76,000 categories. Now, when we talk about categories, we're talking about industrial spending categories that include both direct and indirect spend. For those of you who might not have heard of those terms, direct spend refer to when you're manufacturing a product, you need the raw materials, the systems, the services like testing, for example, that directly contribute to the making of the goods. That's direct spend. Indirect spend, we may have some colleagues on this call here. If you work for MRO in maintenance and repair, or if you're running a whole plant and you need a lot of indirect procurement, which means computers, PPE, things that keeps your offices in order, that's indirect procurement. And on Thomasnet, our 76,000 categories covered it all. And in the last few years, you must have heard about, PPE sourcing and testing kit sourcing. Those are also fast-growing categories on Thomas. Now, I want to really spend the rest of this hour in focusing on 3 things you can do on thomasnet.com. Number 1, search. And I'm not talking about generic search using any Google-like search engine. I'm talking about our 180 advanced search filters designed for industrial sourcing, such as industrial certification from ISO to ITAR, to how you can, number 2, evaluate all the information that we organize in a structural way for you. So within a single click, you can get exactly what you need. But also we don't stop there. You can export, shortlist, organize all of your information, share that with your colleague, download that as CVS, and upload it into your procurement system if you like. And finally, with one request, you actually can get multiple quotes from verified Thomas and Sometry suppliers. And we also have transaction insurance, where if you buy a product directly from our suppliers, within 21 days of the delivery day, if you are not happy with the purchase, our team of procurement expert will actually help you sort out the issues. So it's almost like when you use Thomas completely for free, you have a team of procurement expert with 100+ years of experience supercharging what you do. But before I kind of just go in and talk nonstop, I'm really curious about who you are and why you are using Thomas. So I'm launching a poll right now, and it's just a really quick one question. Which of the following best describes how you use thomasnet.com today? And I can see some of you are answering. Fantastic. Yep, a quarter of you voted, half of you, 61%. Give everyone just last second. Perfect. Let me close the poll and I'm going to share the results. Can you guys see? So, like what I expected, 59% of you use thomasnet.com to discover new vendor, and 12% identify new business leads or to research new industry and manufacturing processes, and 6% of you are looking for new products and services. Fantastic. Like I said, I would like, if you don't mind, for you to drop in question or chat what you're sourcing for SI percent. So when I'm going to pull up examples, I may actually use your example to make this presentation even better for you. For example, if you're looking for new vendor, new service, let me know right now. All right, without further ado, let me hide results. Perfect. Now, I talk about the 1, 2, 3 of Thomas. You can search, evaluate, and buy. Let's jump right into how you can search. Obviously, the first thing you need to do is to pop over to thomasnet.com and allow me to do the same for you right now. So I'm going to just toggle it to my main screen. Perfect. Right. Let's use an example. I am going to say I work for an aerospace company and I'm looking for new valves. This is a very common use case, and we have about 4,000 suppliers on our platform. At that point, you may say, Kathy, how is it different from me just searching on any search engine? I will say, I'm saving you hours of your day because we have a lot of structural filters in terms of exactly what you want to need. For those of you who earlier on told me that you use Thomas to better understand an industry, one hidden Easter egg is whenever you search for any categories on Thomas, you see the More button. When you click the More button, you can see different categorization of the historical supply analysts that we have, again, over a century of experience, really showing you different types of valves and how we relate to different categories. Plus also, when it comes to valves, how does it match, different machining processes, etc. So as an engineer, you may want to use it just to browse and understand where are your unknown. Next, we also have really kind of interesting filter where whenever you see any of these badges, these are suppliers that are our partners. They pay Thomas and Sometry in order for us to help them better categorize their capabilities, verify their information, but also organize their information in a way that will make you find the products in a more efficient way. For example, let me open SwitchLog. They are one of the world's biggest custom manufacturer for valves and many other industrial hardware. When you look at this company profile, you can see that immediately you have the address, the location, web link, everything you need about a company. But what makes Thomas unique is our firmographic information. So within a company profile, you can see that Thomas uniquely sent a team of videographer to basically capture the factory and show you within this organization how big is the factory, how they manufacture products. When this launch, you will see like a really great overview, a drone view of the manufacturing company, and you will see the machine. You will look at how they produce products, and sometimes we even show you their warehouses, how they package material. So in a way, what we're doing is we create one organized structure for supplier information, and we give you access to visiting all of these suppliers digitally without you having to do 25 different international trips or national trips. In addition, for our partner suppliers, you see even more in-depth information about the products that they offer. Say when I click through and expand, apart from valves, I can see what else Switchlock actually manufactures from A to Z, literally. And also you can see the full catalog. So for example, as I said, I'm really interested in a particular type of valves or pipes. You can click through and download CAD files and see if they render correctly in your design as well. So this is how a supplier profile looks on our site, but let me swing back into the search results. So one thing that's quite cool about Thomas, and I talk a lot about firmographic information, you will see that in a glance within the search result, you see whether or not the company is categorized as a manufacturer, custom manufacturer, distributor, etc., etc. So why is this important? Some of you, when you're in industrial sourcing, you may be looking for a custom manufacturer who can make a part that you design. And if you talk to a distributor, that's just going to be a waste of time. And vice versa, you may just have a SKU number, you're ready to buy 100 parts that look the same, and you may not need to talk to a custom manufacturer, you want to talk to a distributor. So now we have all these company types already in this result. You can see the year of the company founded and the size. Again, this is really important for buyers because if you're looking for example, a small job and you just want to get a prototype done, you may not want to look for a company that's massive because you know how many times you talk to a giant company and they don't take a little order and vice versa. So all of these information is already in the search result at the top where you can see how long the company has been around, how big the company is, and a quick summary about their capability specific to the search term you use. So that's really cool. Now, with COVID-19, I'm not going to bore your brains about supply chain disruption because we live it every single day. And a lot of our buyers ask me, hey, Kathy, I really want to find a suppliers that do actually have capabilities in manufacturing in the USA. So in the last few years, what we've done is we actually talked to our suppliers in our network. We have 560,000 of them. And we asked them to let us know if they have explicit capability in manufacturing in the USA. So now you now see a filter called Origin Declaration. Usually there are three labels: the Barrier Amendment Act, Buy American Act, and Made in the USA. The first two, there are strict requirements from the federal government on what quantifies being part of a company that can fulfill Barrier Amendment and Buy American Act. For those of you who buy for a bigger company, you would know the rules. And we asked the suppliers to give us a written confirmation that they are capable in fulfilling those acts. For the Made in the USA one, this is more just us asking manufacturers if they can and have the capacity to manufacture in the US. So let me just apply this search result, and you will see that from 1,400 valve suppliers, I immediately limited it to only 244. And in addition, you may say, hey, Kathy, I have a company that's based in a certain region. Let's say I talk to the New York State government all the time about them looking for locally sourced suppliers. So I'll just punch in a generic New York State postcode, and immediately you see that there are only 17 suppliers within the state that are within 15 miles of my postcode that can manufacture in the USA alone. And now, in addition, I'm sorry for the background noise. I am dog sitting. Hey, Cleo, can you come and sit down, please? I have an audience. Be a good boy, girl. She is. I walked her right before this, but I think she's very high maintenance. All right, she's now calm. Okay, now next, within valve suppliers, we also, for any suppliers you have, you can see the quality certification. Say, for a lot of you, you may have to source from companies that are ISO certified, or if you work for Clio, if you work for Boeing, for example, and you have a diversity spend goal, you can actually select companies that fit ownership and diversity specific requirements. And finally, for those of you who may work in aerospace and defense, you may say, Kath, I need ITAR registered only company. Sit. Be a good girl. I'm recorded. Okay. So within the valves suppliers, you can see that we have ITAR registered suppliers, and there are only 2 of them. And at this particular point, you may say, Kathy, my manager always asks me to keep a copy of the company certification. You don't have to look at your Google search result and click through 20 websites to dig where they have the certification publicly available, because many of them don't even have that. For Thomas, our librarian actually organized all the information where you can see the certification and will expand it in a bigger form, and you can right click and download it. You even see that for this particular user, it has expired, but you can contact them and ask them if they have a newly updated version of the ITA certificate if you need that. Now, I have a really good use case from Christine. Christine is looking for US manufacturer for faux leather. Interesting. I would love to know what you're making. And sewing notions. So I'm going to use faux leather as an example. Now, this is always fun. It's interesting. This is a great use case because, as you can see, Christine, by default in our taxonomy, even though we have 76,000 of them, I don't have one particular one that's only about faux leather. But fear not, I have a trick. So I'm just going to copy the keyword here. I'm going to look for all leather supplier. And as I scroll to the bottom left, you will see this button called search within results. So now I'm going to just actually filter the search result with the word faux. Now I can see we don't have that. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Full letter. Let me try it one more time. And I hit search result. Perfect. So it turns out Kathy's using a consumer term. So Thomas Taxonomy actually has a way to guesstimate exactly what you're asking for and if we have the right category for you. And the answer is yes. Synthetic limitation and artificial leather suppliers. In addition, Christine, you asked, but I'm looking for US manufacturers of such. So I am looking at this search result, and now I found 3 companies that can do that. So I'm actually going to immediately drop it to the answer box so you can bookmark this link for your research purpose. I think I sent privately. Cool, done. Now, next, Larry, you were looking for beverage co-packers. This is another really interesting use case because I think sometimes when you use the term you're using for to search, it may not be the language we use to categorize the services. So here, I can see under suppliers by category, there are a lot of options. Within the mental model of Thomas taxonomy in the industry, you have packaging services, contract manufacturing, and private label manufacturing. So what I do when I'm at this point, usually I will do a within page search. On Mac is Command F, on PC is Control F, I think. Then you can type in the keyword. So at this point, I'm not seeing a very clear option, but amongst the 3, I would say the one that's most relevant could be just co-packing. And at this point, I'm actually going to click it and I'm going to search for within the result beverage to see if I can narrow down what you're after and exactly precisely how I like it. Thank you, thomasnet.com. I can see that I have 18 suppliers where they are co-packing suppliers with beverage capability, completely called out. And yes, Larry, if you let me know what region you're in, we can even, for example, look at the states here on the left-hand side. For example, a lot of private label manufacturing happened in California. I assume you might be. Maybe you're not there, but it's okay. Just as an illustration for everyone else, we split California to south and west, which is kind of funny. Long story, if you have time, eventually, guys, we'll do a happy hour and talk about how we organize things. But now you can see serving Southern California, we have 4 suppliers that can do co-packing beverage ordering. Now you may say, okay, I need to find out more about this person, and this is still the evaluation part, but this is still how you search on Thomas. When I get to the evaluation part, I'll explain how you can go through all the information. And I have one more example. which is from Robin. Robin is looking for a custom manufacturer in San Francisco Bay Area who work with metal. So this is a really interesting question because when it comes to working with metals, when you type in metal, for example, I'm just going to pop right in. There are a tremendous amount of suppliers, but I think this is about raw materials supplies. When it comes to custom manufacturing, there are many methodology such as CNC milling, CNC machining, additive manufacturing. These days, they support really powerful kind of printing using metal as well. You may not know exactly what methods you have, and I can show you towards the end of this presentation. I have a very powerful tool through Xometry Instant Quote, where you don't even need to know what exactly are the right method process for you. Our information and our AI tool can actually suggest the right method for you and give you immediate lead time, shipping information within 2 seconds. Now let's say, but using Robin's example, I have CNC machining, and I have all the search results here, and I can actually scroll down again. Oh, I forgot to uncheck California. So this is actually helpful. South California is maybe what you're after. I need to actually think of a good San Francisco postcode. So let me just search really quickly on Google down here. I'll find a phantom postcode so we are not accidentally revealing basically Robin's home address. We don't want that, or office address. So let me just punch it a strange one, or a stranger's postcode, but it's San Francisco. So let me type in 50 miles within this postcode. Boom. Now my CNC machinist option had dropped to about 500 suppliers. But maybe you want to say, Kathy, I want even a closer supplier. So you can actually limit the search result to under 10 miles. Again, I search it, it dropped to 17 suppliers. Now, this is fantastic. You can actually see Xometry partners here, and Xometry is our parent company. Within Xometry.com, you can actually upload any files. And once you start your instant quote process, I'm going to show you guys in a second toward the end how this will help you find the right process and help you estimate all the lead time information in a second. Now, I covered a lot, so let's do a quick recap, and I'm going to again share my screen too. Perfect. So let's recap. We do 3 things on Thomas well. We help you search, evaluate, and buy any product. Under search, I love that you guys have an incredible amount of case studies for me, where I can use the case studies, be it CNC machining in San Francisco, imitation leather, where we actually can use those examples to see in the search result. We have all the structure data, including the location and radius served of these companies. You see that we organize all the firmographic information data. So if you're a small manufacturer or you're developing small product, you can look for a smaller company working with you. Or you might be an enterprise big customer looking for a manufacturer of enough kind of employee size that can actually manufacture your bigger order if you need. In addition, we talk about, the third thing is the quality certification on the left-hand side. You saw that I'm able to filter, say, ITA, ISO, and within the search result, I can click the little icon. We'll go through that in a bit more details and get the certification within seconds. Now, within the search result, as I mentioned, let's just whiz through what I already covered, but I just want to really kind of remind you what we talk about. In the search result, you see all the detailed firmographic information at a glance. You can search within result. Remember our example where with Larry looking for beverage co-packing, you can look for co-packing, then use the search within result to narrow down to beverage. You can find manufacturer that self-declare through working with Thomas that they are in compliance with Barrier Amendment by American Act, or they just tell us they have made in the USA capability. And Canadians on the call, we're working on that as well. And also location served, which is different from where they are situated with the top filter. And again, for suppliers that are verified by us, you have that extra confidence that they have a partnership relationship with our company. We know who these people are. And many of these companies, we actually work with them for over 100 years. In addition, any other certification you're looking for, check the box. You can narrow the results using the ITIL example I just demonstrated, or even if you're looking for minority search. Finally, I wanted to, for the first part in terms of all the great search tool, I want to make sure you see that there is another really powerful hidden tool on thomasnet.com. So within our website, when you pop over, you will see that when you scroll to the bottom of the website, there is a diversity tab. This is not just about looking for companies that have certain kind of spend category that you can assign them to, such as minority-owned businesses. This is my really cheeky way. Oh, actually, I need to type that valves, plural, Kathy. Let's see. I had shown you that we have 1,400 valves supplier with the main page search result. But when you search diverse suppliers, this is my very handy way to show you from a quality certification kind of anatomical point of view, how many of these suppliers fit like precisely what you might be after, such as ITAR, right here, ITAR register, there are 55 of them, and all the miscellaneous certification like Buy American Act, etc., etc. This is a very useful thing, especially if your procurement manager is asking you, hey, Larry, I really need to find out in the US how many valves suppliers can actually manufacture in an ITAR environment. Boom. This is a really great, unique way of looking at our structured data. Now, swinging back to this really important summary, right? We already talked about how you can use our data to search very effectively, essentially saving maybe 250 clicks from a Google search to maybe just 10 for you to narrow down your result and get exactly what you need. Next, point 2 is how you can evaluate our structured data. Every single company, you see that in a search result, there are a lot of business information. So within the search result, you will see that I showed you very quickly when you look at the green icon, you click it, it shows that you can download a certificate. So I'm just going to have a quick sip of water. And when you actually click through and click this little icon, what is this icon? So remember, every single company website, they organize information differently. So Thomas, Supplier Expert, actually deep link the information about the specific certifications, the Pressure Equipment Directive, and we link you directly to the web page, deep linking it, that contains the information of the said company. So you are not taken to the homepage and then you have to dig around yourself. You can go in and then you can find the information completely linked to on a one-on-one basis. Next, if the certification, for example, is available in any third-party organization, say small business agency, we link directly to the government body, and so you can verify the information and check if anything is expired or not. And finally, you don't see this a lot, which is self-report information. Sometimes you see it, which is very similar to the Made in the USA capability. We do, if there's no formal certifying body, take suppliers' self-reported information. Now, this all look very hypothetical, so let me show you one more time how it looks on the front end. Let's see. So, okay, I am going to use an example from Joseph. So Joseph is asking, okay, you're looking for PPE for the oil and gas industry, provide a context within the companies. That's a good example, but I'm going to just abstract it to a higher level for a quick second, but I'll come back to your more detailed question in a bit. I might be looking for personal protective equipment. And within this, I'm going to look into this particular company. And right here, I scroll down. This is where you see the business details. And this is where you see the iconography that I mentioned, where I can click the Made in the USA link. And we link to this company's homepage because they do say in their homepage that they have capability in manufacturing in America. Now, I'm going to throw in another example and just search suppliers and say this time I may look for a bearings suppliers. I just click our 1,575 suppliers. And within this page, This is really helpful, guys, because sometimes you may be looking for a supplier or distributor. We even show you on a structural way the brand they carry. Here, you can see that they have an ISO certificate. You see the little green icon. Like I said, you can actually print this certificate, and which again saves you hours of quantifying whether or not their certificates are up to date or not. So swinging back to the agenda today, we covered all the 4 iconography, and next is I demoed with you all the really in-depth information with a supplier, but I want to show you a very great tool. So once you are looking at this supplier and you may say, hey, in my company, we are very kind of paper trail related, and I have to create report all the time in terms of how and why I think a supplier fits our score. So at this point, all the features I'm showing you, by the way, as I mentioned, is free. All you need to do is to create and log into thomasnet.com. I just click the generate report button, and you can see that I can get a free report from Thomas within 30 minutes of request. And like all cake baker, I've already prepared an example report that I've done from before. When you click and open this report, you basically see all the information in the website, but contained in a PDF file for you to upload into your ERP or procurement system. Very similar to what I've already walked you through in terms of our data structure. It shows you what this company does, and a lot of really important information, such as how big the company is, when are they founded, the certification and registrations they have. All the classification in terms of what they are capable of is done by Thomas. So this is all first-party original industrial knowledge that we save you time in classifying and doing it yourself. Certificates that we talk about, you don't even have to download yourself. They're all embedded within our supplier report. So, and also we have a glossary that explains what each certificate and special kind of label we have assigned to the suppliers mean. So in a way, we literally saved you thousands of hours if you're doing this day in, day out. Again, let me walk you through how I got here. I look at a company profile after browsing all the capabilities and what they can do. I find that, okay, you guys are really interesting. I want to request a report, and it will take you to my account page. So when you scroll, and look at my thomasnet.com page, let's see, I'll scroll back up here. I can go into my dashboard. This is here under my Thomas account. I can see all the downloads I've asked for, such as supplier summary reports, right on this page. So here, report. Yes. So now you can see actually the BDI report you saw me generating about 5 minutes ago, and I got it within 5 minutes. We like over delivering and under promising here at Thomas when we can. Now, swinging back to our curriculum, we went through the demo with supplier page with in-depth information. We also have multiple suppliers comparison tool. So some of you ask, hey, Kath, I'm really busy. I really want all the information to be right in front of me in a way that doesn't require me to copy and paste and move them into an Excel file. I have you covered. So let's use our Valve example one more time. See, after looking at all the firmographic information, I decided that, okay, SwitchLog, you guys look really decent, trustworthy. When you see me clicking the select button, pay attention to the bottom strip. You will see that I can start seeing, okay, for example, I'm adding, a few more companies that I think are good enough for my buying brief. At that point, you can actually click the compare button. So within the compare button, immediately you can see that I can zoom into this table. You can copy and paste it into Excel however you want. You can even select all of them 5 at a time and quote your project. I'm jumping ahead a little bit. This is something that I will cover in part 3, which is how you can buy from these suppliers. But a very short-winded way of saying this is you can create any project when you're within our search result, a supplier page, or on the shortlist and comparison feature. whenever you see the big blue button, you just have to tell us what material, product, services you're looking for, or if you're not sure, you can pick the fourth option. Once you're here, tell us a bit about the project, and we will, on your behalf, connect with the suppliers, and they will get an email detailing all the information, and they can give you a quote. The beauty of using our project builder is you may build your project once, you can reuse it every single time when you submit quotes to the suppliers. So theoretically, you can create one quote, add up to 5 suppliers within one project send. But after you've done that, you can continuously shop for more suppliers and reuse the same project you just built and send to more and more additional suppliers, if that makes sense. So next is, I also wanted to show you guys a really powerful option, which is I've selected all these suppliers. Instead of comparing them, I can actually add them to a short list. So say for today, I am creating a short list called 2022, August 17. This one is, I wanted to actually do a valves short list. Let's say I'm working for a client, you can call it client B if you're a consultant, right? You can save to the shortlist. So in order to access the shortlist, you can click this button, or you can always go back to your Thomas account. Within your Thomas account, where all the information is, you will see that I actually basically just look at my shortlist result. And at this point, the beauty of this is I can actually download any shortlist I've created, and it will immediately generate a CSV file. Let me just drag it to the screen so you can see, where it contains the suppliers I've added into the file. And you can see their URLs, taking them to your Thomas profile. You have their information such as the state, the phone numbers. So for the Data Ninja here, if you want to map this into your procurement ERP system, it's just a few additional clicks away. Now, Robin, if someone download a report, does that get reported to the company? That's the subject of the report. That's a really good question. So if you are a supplier and a advertising partner of Thomas, we anonymize the information, but we do let our advertisers know that their companies have people interested in talking to them. So they get a report where they understand from what industry people are interested in their product, so that it helps coach them with their business strategy as well. So let me just repeat what Robin's asking. So when you initiate a report download, will the supplier be aware of it? The answer is in an anonymized way. They get aggregated data about what kind of services and industry are interested in their businesses. Now, Joseph also asked a question. Yeah, to your question, I can follow up a little bit more in depth. So his question is more, when you're looking for a specific contact of a company, like, can I use Thomas almost like LinkedIn, where I can look for a company and find out who are the key contacts? The answer is sometimes. So like how I described, right? When you look at a company, let me just swing back to, for example, laser, let's see what comes up, laser suppliers. And when you look at the company profile of any company, when you scroll down to the bottom, sometimes you will see key personnel within the search results. So Joseph, if you are looking for someone that's, for example, is a decision maker for this company, it would be Kyle. But say, for example, operationally is Steve. And we don't give you personal information because that's not our space to offer that. And we also have very high respect for PII. But you do have the information when it comes to the website link and the supplier business phone number. So I hope that answers your question. Yes. Cool. So next, so we talk a lot about how you can evaluate, and we already cover how you can export all the data. So let me give you guys a recap for part 2 before we move on to part 3. So just now we really kind of quickly cover all the key on the supply search result. You can always use the supplier profile page to find out who are the key personnel and export any report you need. You can select up to 5 suppliers at a time to compare and shortlist all these suppliers, or click the quote your project button to really kind of contact the supplier directly and get multiple quotes. Once you click the compare button, we have this table where you can review exactly who you want to talk to and engage in further actions such as saving these suppliers, shortlisting them, downloading the report, or checking a few of them to continue with your procurement journey, which is to quote your project. In addition, like what I just demoed, you can also create shortlist and add the suppliers into the project you're working on, name it however you want. And always you can go back and look at your shortlist and download the suppliers you've added. Although we limit at any given point, you can only add 5 suppliers in one kind of supplier shortlist feature. But once you add the first 5, you can clear your result and add as many as you want, up to 5 suppliers at a time. So you can see that there's a shortlist I've made that has 32 suppliers, and so far I have not hit a limit. At the end, you may say, Kath, I want to upload my information, share that with my colleagues. You can export all the information into CSV files and import it into your procurement system. So Robin, you asked me a quick question about aggregated data. So is that aggregated data giving the zip codes of the interested company? No, we don't give zip codes of the company that are interested in the supplier's business, but we do offer state level information. So for the suppliers here, if you're interested in becoming a partner with Thomas, just ask any question or leave any trace in the chat. We also have an exit survey by the end of this quick presentation where you can ask any question. If you stay behind and answer the survey in 1 minute, ask any question there. Anything I cannot answer within the webinar will answer as a follow-up as well. So what I mean is, suppliers, if you're curious about our data stack, how we anonymize data but still give you really interesting insights as to who is interested in your sector, we can introduce you to the right people. Finally, we talk about the 3 things on Thomas, right? Search, evaluate. Now it's about buy, how you can connect through requesting information and buy directly from the suppliers. So within any single supplier profile, you'll see a message button. You can always click and ask any questions. If you use LinkedIn, this is a very popular interface. I'm sure you're very familiar with it, where you as a buyer can contact any companies in our database, click the message them button, ask any question. This is slightly different from a project builder. This is about you just asking super high level quick questions. And also, as a buyer, if someone is soliciting a response from you, and if you don't think that's relevant to your business or it's not a good use of your time, you can always just reject that request, and you don't have to respond to any request that you don't deem as relevant to your goals. We give you complete control of that. So we already covered, when you're going through our evaluation and search result, you will see the big blue build a project button. We may change the naming of it through A/B testing, but watch this space. You will always be able to click through a button to build your project, choose what kind of project type you have, give us more information about your shipping information, items details, any specific questions, and our verified suppliers, including these 3 types, will answer your question. If not, our procurement team would actually pick up the phone, call them on behalf of you completely. Is, like I said, is a great service. And within 21 days from the delivery day they promised, if you're not happy with your procurement result, you can get in touch with us at Thomas Sometry. We'll make sure to make it right for you. In addition, for buyers here, as well as suppliers, really, I mean, the payment terms in our industry have sometimes gotten out of hand. What I mean by that is, for buyers, sometimes it's a stress source where you have to find vendors that your company pre-approved. You have to go through the internal procurement vetting process. The beauty of Thomas is, if you have a corporate credit card, first of all, you can already check out within our ecosystem across 12,000 categories with all of the verified partners with transaction guarantee that we talked about. In addition, if you're so willing, you can actually set up one line of credit and buy from thousands of top US and Canadian suppliers with a net 30 terms with Thomas. So for the suppliers, what's great about it is no matter what the buyer buying terms is, sometimes we hear these days there are buyers that won't settle the bill until 60 days after the transaction. That's not great for cash flow. Within Xometry, you have a guaranteed 30 days payment directly through Xometry, no matter what the buyer's payment terms are. So if you guys are interested in that, again, in your exit survey, stay behind, ask us any question. We'd love to hear any feedback. So what if you actually need something more? I think, let me get it right. I do think Joseph was asking some question about, not Joseph, I think it was Larry. No, it was Robin. So if you're looking for a specific machinist and you're doing a part you've never sourced before, you roughly know you do want to use metal for your output. Here's something super cool with Xometry.com. So in case you have never used Xometry, we are a custom manufacturer with over 5,000 partners from around the world. And what I'm going to do is I will actually do a quick demo and show you, imagine I am Robin and I have a particular part that I like to make. Say, for example, my mechanical engineer has already designed a tri-frame part that I need to produce. I have never sourced this part before. I'm not sure if I can use an additive manufacturing processes for a prototype, or maybe I'm already ready for production run, and I like to find a solution that can scale with a higher number of part order. All I need to do is to drag my file or click the button to upload it directly onto Xometry.com. At this point, within seconds, guys, literally, our artificial intelligence machine learning system can actually parse through real-time data, including supplier performance, to basically identify the best supplier for you that has experience in producing parts that complies with the factory physics of the part you're manufacturing. Now, what do I mean by that? See, if you have very specific goals and you have a very kind of exceptional tolerance that even is higher than industrial standard, and you don't know if a manufacturer has ever done that before, Xometry has done everything, and we have the data in our system. So within this search result, I can see, for example, what the AI tool is recommending me to do right now is they are recommending a CNC machining process using a special type of aluminum, 6061T6. Now, for some of you, you may say, actually, Kath, I came in really being gung-ho on using a particular processes. We'll talk about that. But also if you think, oh, this is so interesting. If I make one of them, it's about $400. What happens if I order 100 of them? So I'm adding it and I change my kind of request, and immediately you see how this part order has changed, and the price has also kind of changed as well. Now, in addition, if I swing back and say, Kath, actually, I'm not sure if I want to use CNC machining. I want to override your clever machine because I do think this is going to be a better product as a prototype, not even using metal. At this point, I just click the modify part option. Within process, I am actually picking, instead of subtractive manufacturing, I'm doing 3D printing, additive manufacturing. I may say HP multi-jet fusion is a very popular 3D printing options, and I'm going to use just, general purpose nylon to fabricate this, and I'm going to use simple color, nothing fancy. I don't need it black dye, and I'm going to just save the property. Again, within second, this whole project has dropped to only $62 for what you need, right? There are a lot of additional great features with this tool. For the engineers on the call, again, if you have any questions, stay behind, answer the quick survey. Within the modify part option, we actually give you a lot of additional information. You can change thread, tape, like tape holes, part marking, anything you're looking for. In addition, we do actually have a lot of actual engineers on staff. And if you want any formal inspection, custom inspection, you can outsource that sort of expertise within the Sometry 1000 people organization, and we can help make sure all of these supplier relationship management is done for you. Obviously, if you have any additional requirement, you can add to it as well. So I hope, Robin, this is giving you another facet of really kind of helpful tool where, oops, sorry, move the question back here, where it can really kind of coach you. In addition, there is a hidden, really amazing, powerful tool. Especially if you're in procurement, you're not in engineering. Sometimes it can be quite frustrating that engineers tell you what to do, and you're like, but who can I talk to check that the drawing is actually optimal? So we have this beautiful technologically powered analytical tool where anyone, when they upload any feature, we give you design feedback in real time. And so you can see basically based on our subject matter expertise and how we configure all QC processes, everything that you need for this part is done. Gap check, large part, model fidelity, small part, wall thickness, all of that. So if you ever wanted to challenge engineers, not that we should, not to challenge, but you know what they say, trust but verify. We have all the tools here for you. Now, okay, great. Again, guys, feel free to drop any question in this chat. I know there's a lot of information we're going through here. So final part, as I mentioned, when you connect with the suppliers, right? Let's run through the few last slides in terms of how you can buy directly from our customers. Remember, you can message to clarify any question you have with the suppliers. You can build a project, and once you have one project, you can go through the whole search analysis and find as many suppliers and send up to 5 quotes at a time, requests from them, and we will organize everything for you, especially when you are looking from suppliers that we have verified. You have the transaction assurance that within 21 days of the intended delivery date, any dispute, our team will take good care of you. You can also check in using bank transfer, credit card, but if you set up one line of credit, and we'll make sure in our follow-up email, you will get the deck, you will get the recording today, and also you'll get a link in setting up the one line of credit with Sometry, so you can buy from thousands of suppliers without going through the whole procurement vetting process yet again. But also remember, if you have not sourced for any parts and materials, you really can leverage the Sometry instant quoting engine to understand material science, factory physics, design manufacturing feedback, and all of that at your fingertips by dragging and uploading the design file, and the world is your oyster. So here is a recap on thomasnet.com core feature summary. We're engineered to work together for you, so you can really get access to all the free firmographic information from companies, get all the structured data, saving you thousands of clicks if you have a big project, leverage our advanced search filter to go from thousands of suppliers to maybe dozens that fit your specific criteria in minutes, compare suppliers, add them to shortlist, export the information, but more importantly, create a project brief and get multiple quotes. And also remember to set up one line of credit and buy from thousands of suppliers. And remember, if you're stuck, talk to me. You have my email. I welcome everyone when they register, and you can also set up custom quote. And finally, before you go, we have an amazing list of resources. Remember, we have a lot of sourcing ebooks, and when you get this deck, you get all the link. You can get really kind of useful, in-depth information about this webinar written in long form format for those of you who like to read. We have tremendous amount of technical guides. Any questions you don't know, for example, we've been asked CMMC, what is that, manufacturing security certification that the government recently introduced. We heard about it, we immediately interviewed an expert and created a long form guide in it. Remember to sign up to our daily newsletter, where we aspire to make you the smartest person in the room every day by sending you all the industry insights at 4 a.m. every morning on business day. And here's a gift for you as well for the engineers. If you want to get this beautiful injection molding finish card as a shortcut for your manufacturing, we'll send a link within this deck and you can sign up and we'll get you the card. And finally, we have a great ebook about the ultimate information you need to master your 3D printing understanding. So this is really the end of the presentation. I'm leaving my LinkedIn information and my personal email up for a few minutes. And I can see that we have no additional information. So thank you for your time today. And I'd say if you can stay behind after I close to answer a few short questions so I can do better and bring you more useful information every time, that will be great. Thank you very much for your time. And I look forward to hear from you and have a great day.